Hi ho there, everybody. Paul here from climatesays.com, the blog that gives you more. And, we're going to give you more, something in a second, but first I'm going to do our PSAs using universal hand signs. First one. And the second one is so that's it for the PSAs, and they're important. So next, today we're doing something brand new, and that is we're going to have a real guest that isn't me, which is kind of a whole thing that I've never done before. It's like working without a net because I don't know what this guy's going to say. He's not me. I'm not familiar with his work, but a lot of people are saying that he has some kind of fascinating ideas. And maybe fascinating is not exactly the right word, but anyway, let's get right to it. So here's our guest, Professor W. Beckwith Lemieux. Professor, hello, and welcome to climatesays.com, the blog that gives you more. Tell us about yourself.
Thanks for having me, Doctor. Yes, I am generally known for having invented a number of important modern-day lifestyle conveniences that have radically changed life as we know it. They are now so fundamentally ingrained that we almost take them for granted. I am the inventor of YouTube, for example. Not the channel itself, but the concept that led to the platform. I gave Al Gore the idea for the internet. Yes. A number of people know what I do, including you, Dr. Kleiman. You are my Rush Limbaugh. Yes, Dr. Kleiman, and I so appreciate it. That's why I'm on your program.
Well, thanks, Professor, but don't get your hopes up. You'll be lucky if you get 100 views, and most of them will probably be your friends, if you have any. And you invented YouTube? Okay, well, I'm not a doctor, by the way, that wasn't my idea. So let's just talk about your new theory. My staff tells me that you are the most influential, actually the only expert in this field, which has yet to exist. So, what is your theory, Professor?
It's called radical intimacy, and I have several government contracts to develop these techniques before the election, actually, in the next few days. In fact, I am waiting to hear from the Surgeon General in a minute or two about funding for the project. Any minute. People worry about intimacy during COVID, even with their family members. Many people don't kiss their kids anymore because they fear for their lives. What most people don't realize is that you can be very close without sharing liquids or body vapors or saliva. You have masks, which are very important, but for most, masks are an intimacy killer. There can be no intimacy with a mask, but intimacy is a state of mind, you see. You can make out with someone wearing a mask and you can have spontaneity. So long as you move quickly, no lingering. It's the surprise factor, actually. Say you're in a store. You're passing someone in the aisle. As you move past them, you simply lean in and you kiss them. They will love this. It's liberating. The spontaneity and the intimacy, it's what we're missing.
I mean, how could anything like that be safe in COVID? We're supposed to be keeping our distance. Can't we just hug our friends and family in our bubble? And based on some of the people I see at these big rallies that I would have no reason to go to in the first place, I'm kind of glad to be isolated at home.
Look, you can't run a society without contact. It's crucial that we have it. We will suffocate as a society on these damn masks if we don't learn how to breathe through them and have rich lives.
Oh, you're serious? Well, I would think that some of the people in the administration would be concerned that some of the activities you describe are the legal definition of sexual assault. But given the dangers of contact these days, how are we supposed to do all this?
Well, that's where my invention comes in. The sheath. Yes, the miracle sheath. The full body plastic sheath. It, it allows you to be extremely close while fully protected.
But social distancing again, Professor? All the experts seem to say that, social distance, staying 6 feet apart, well, that's pretty much important for this whole thing to work.
Okay, well, the sheath, which we call hugwear, is think body condom. So I'm developing a prototype actually tonight. We can't, and I started last night actually. But the premise is simple. The sheath is a plastic wrapping, like a dry cleaner bag, that fits over your entire body, then is vacuum sealed right over your head, your whole body, and then the air is sucked out, and you have, well, your head has little holes like for breathing. Not to worry. That keeps the germs out, but allows the air in. Breathing. In this field, the trick is to let the air in and keep the germs out.
Okay, well, I must say I enjoy two things: a good business idea and a hearty laugh, and this is at least one of those. Okay, so I'm wearing this human-sized prophylactic, and now what? How does this improve my life?
But this invention allows you to make out, you know, exchange bodily fluids, if you will, to use the scientific term, without the risk of infecting someone. Now, I do it all the time in the laboratory with my assistants, who are very courageous, since there have been several test failures. Not that often, but often enough.
I'm a lawyer, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be hearing from a lot of other people's lawyers. You're kind of your own class action lawsuit. Sorry. Where were we? So we can make out with these strangers now, which is just great. But what else can we do if we're wearing this hugwear of yours?
Many things. You can have fights now. Not those sissy ass social media brouhahas, the polarization and all the hatred online, but real life street brawls, schoolyard rumbles. I mean, the return to the good old days when you could actually deck someone, punch them in the teeth. With the body sheath, you can do that. There's no risk of getting bodily fluids on you. Because there's nothing better than a nice smack in the kisser, dead on pow.
That's quite something. I must say, I've never heard anything so irresponsibly reckless and insane, at the same time, really funny.
This is why I want to put this out on your show, Doctor. You're my Fox News. This is the media outlet that cares for these kinds of advances and that is willing to give me a platform, a proper platform. The other media outlets don't have the courage.
Yeah, courage. I think what the other outlets don't have is a bunch of idiots on their staff, but I appreciate your faith in us, Professor Lemire. Well, let's be honest, I know you're not a professor, but thank you for sharing your interesting and probably illegal and dangerous idea with us today. You'll either get rich or go to jail. I'm betting on the latter, but it's kind of a fine line these days. So you're really working with the government? They're paying you for this?
Well, they pay great. Actually, they pay up the wazoo. Not just in money, but in perks. Major perks. Access to the president, membership in the Popeyes reward program, an ambassadorship. I mean, the list goes on. Of course, I get a lot of satisfaction from the work that I do, but the material rewards are impressive. I mean, I have a meter here in my cell. I mean my lab.
Okay, cut the feed. Which one of you guys is responsible for this moron? Huh? All right, I'm waiting. Listen, I'm not going to fire you because there's a pandemic going on, but I am disappointed. That was even stupider than our last interview, and that was me I was interviewing. I guess this is what I get for interviewing someone besides myself, huh? Wow. Well, after that nonsense, I think we could all use some kind of more fact-based and meaningful message, and I can think of no one better to deliver that message than my beautiful wife, Kiki. And this is her first appearance on ClimateSays.com as a Kleiman, which is pretty awesome. And of course, I will sneak up on her and make believe I forgot, like usual. Hi, Ann. Got a question.
Yes.
Do you have any kind of real idea about how people can deal with their, kind of being anxious or depressed when they're alone in this COVID thing?
Oh, during the pandemic?
Yes.
It's funny because I'm working on a project right now connecting seniors with technology that are suffering from loneliness.
Oh.
Which is great. But in our personal lives, I think one of the greatest things to do is if you use technology, connect with people you know. Connect with your friends, connect with your family, FaceTime, not time on social media. If you exercise, social distance walk with friends, you can catch up and gab on a trail while staying distant and masked. But also, you can also FaceTime. I exercise with my sister who's in New York. She's on FaceTime and I'm showing her what I'm seeing and she's showing me what she's seeing. You can meet with neighbors in your yard. They're in their yard, you're in yours, even if it's just a driveway or a walkway.
We do
We do that when Paul plays guitar and our neighbors love it. And they held a little mini reception after we got married for us, a distant reception. You can also volunteer. A lot of volunteer opportunities are halted because of the pandemic, but there are organizations that need help. Anyway, stay connected any way that you can. But make sure it's with people that you know, with your family, with your friends, old and new. But don't just spend your time on news sites or social media. Be with the people that matter to you. That's about it.
Oh, well, thanks. That's much more useful than what that other guy told us.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for ClimateSays.com, the blog that gives you more.